Welcome to the Biological Harmony podcast, where we discuss Germanic healing knowledge and energy, a space where we explore the most profound, life-changing understanding of the human body and the human experience that I've ever come across, an understanding rooted in nature, in biology, and in the intelligence that created each one of us. Today we're sitting with something extraordinary. Today we're looking at the fifth biological law that Dr. Ryke Geerd Hamer called Quintessence. I mean the word quintessence in its truest sense, the pure concentrated essence of everything, the very heart of Germanic healing knowledge. What I'm about to share may completely change the way you see illness, your body, and the extraordinary wisdom of nature. So what exactly is the fifth biological law? In the simplest, most beautiful terms, every so-called disease is actually a significant biological special program, a meaningful, intelligent, purposeful program of nature. It's not an error, it's not a mistake, and it's not an attack to the body or the immune system. Nature, this magnificent ancient intelligence that built the cosmos, that orchestrates the tides, that grows a forest from a seed. That same intelligence built you, and it does not make mistakes. The fifth biological law synthesizes everything we discover in the other four laws. The iron rule of cancer tells us that every disease begins with a biological conflict shock, a Geerd Hamer syndrome. As it was named, a sudden, acute, dramatic experience that catches us completely off guard. The second law shows us that every program has two phases. An active phase, the daytime phase, during which the conflict is active, and then the nighttime, which is the healing phase, once the conflict is resolved. The third law connects specific biological conflicts to specific tissues and organs in perfect measurable correspondence with the brain relays. And the fourth law, the ontogenetic system of microbes, shows us that these programs are ancient and inherited across the arc of all living evolution, and that the bacteria and microbes have a purpose for their function. They're not our enemies. Now the fifth law then stands above all of them and says, yes, and every single one of these programs is biologically meaningful. Every single one has a purpose. Every single one is a gift of survival. Now, I want to speak to you as a woman, as a human being who has probably sat in a doctor's office at some point and heard a diagnosis delivered as though something had gone terribly wrong inside you, as though your body has betrayed you. I know that feeling, and I want to offer you something today that has transformed the way I hold that experience. Germanic healing knowledge does not use the word disease in the conventional sense, because the very concept of disease implies something's gone wrong. What we discover, what Dr. Hamer discovered through thousands of cases, and what has been observed through brain scans, over 10,000 of them, and confirmed 100% again and again, is that the body is always trying to help you survive. Think about what that means. When a biological conflict strikes, a shock of loss, of territorial fear in your territory, in your home, of feeling unable to digest something emotionally, maybe your husband cheated on you, of separation from someone we love, a child separated from the mother. The brain, the psyche, and the body respond in complete coordination. In an instant, in silence, without asking our permission, a special biological program activates. This may mean that cells proliferate to give an organ more capacity to handle a biological emergency, or they may break down so that a function can be increased. The thyroid accelerates to make us faster in a perceived crisis. A tumor grows in the breast to provide biological milk to nurture a child or a partner the psyche perceives as being in danger. None of this is a mistake, and it's not wrong. All of it is ancient biological wisdom, encoded into our cells across hundreds of millions of years of evolution. Let me give you some examples of the biological meaning behind illness, and I invite you to feel these, not just think about them. Liver cancer from the perspective of Germanic healing knowledge. Now, the liver is one of the most ancient survival organs, and it responds to a conflict of starvation, of existential resource, fear, the fear that there will not be enough. The program is to grow more liver tissue, to increase the capacity to metabolize, to store, to process more nutrients. And in the wild, this extra capacity could mean the difference between surviving a famine and perishing. It's brilliant, terrifying perhaps, when we look at it through the lens of conventional medicine, but biologically it is brilliant. Bone cancer. It's associated with a deep conflict of profound self-devaluation, the feeling of being worthless, broken, insufficient. In biological terms, the bones respond, attempting to rebuild, to restore, to restructure. The body is trying to make you stronger even as your psyche feels its weakest. When we have pain in the bones, it means we're in a healing phase. Skin conditions. The skin is our boundary, our contact with the world. A conflict of separation, of losing touch with someone or something we love, speaks directly to the skin. When we get eczema or a rash or dermatitis, it means we've resolved it. We now have connection again. So do you see that when we stop looking at the body as a battlefield and begin looking at it as a partner, a wise, ancient, incredibly faithful partner, everything changes. Let's talk about the healing phase and why it matters. Here is something that in my experience people often miss, and it's so important, because the fifth biological law doesn't just cover what happens during a conflict. This is when we're constantly thinking about something, we can't get it off our mind and we can't sleep. It covers the entire arc of the program, including healing. And this is where Germanic healing knowledge absolutely turns conventional medicine upside down. In conventional understanding, when we have symptoms during a healing phase, in other words, we have fatigue, or we have a fever, we have inflammation or swelling, it's treated as signs that something is wrong, it's worsening, as threats that need to be suppressed with medication. We're given anti-inflammatories and headache medication. But in Germanic healing knowledge, these are the signs of a resolution. They are the body completing its final program in the healing. Fever is not the enemy. Fever is the body's cellular intelligence at work, orchestrating the repair. Inflammation is not the failure. It is the mobilization of healing resources. All healing occurs in a fluid environment. Even the so-called crisis point, the epileptoid crisis, it's this event, it's this peak in the healing phase. It is the system clearing, removing all the edema from the brain, resetting and completing. It's almost like going through the conflict active phase again, but it's very quick and it's only momentarily. Most of the time it happens at night. The fifth biological law asks us to hold all of this active phase and the healing phase together as one complete, purposeful, biological, meaningful event from start to finish. The body knows what it's healing. It's just like the circadian rhythm, the day and the night phase. What this means for how we live. So what does this actually mean for you, for the way you live, the way you regulate your body? It means you can stop being at war with yourself. I know that can sound very simple when you're in pain, when you're scared, when the diagnosis is heavy, it's sitting on your chest, and the medical system is handing you a map you don't know how to read. But the first shift, the one that Germanic healing knowledge invites, is this. Can I ask what conflict my body may be responding to? Can I be curious rather than combative? Can I listen rather than suppress? And what phase am I in? Am I conflict active or am I healing? When we understand the fifth biological law, healing takes on a completely different meaning. It's no longer about destroying disease. It's about resolving the conflict that initiated the program. It's about bringing the psyche, the brain, and the body back into harmony. When the conflict resolves, truly resolves, not just intellectually, but felt in the body, released in the nervous system, the program completes. The body heals itself exactly as it was designed to do. This does not mean we should refuse medical care or ignore the symptoms. But understanding this knowledge gives us context, gives us compassion for ourselves, gives us a deeper lens through which to engage with whatever support we choose. It makes us an active participant in our own well-being rather than passive recipients of someone else's narrative about our bodies. I want to come back to the word quintessence before we close today. Dr. Hamer chose this word deliberately. In classical philosophy, the fifth essence, the quintessence, was the element that held all others together, the invisible thread beneath matter, beneath form, beneath the visible world. That is exactly what the fifth biological law is. It is the invisible thread beneath all illness, all healing, all biological experience. It says, there is meaning here. There is intelligence here. Nature is not an error. And if nature does not err, if every program your body has ever run has been in service of your survival, then perhaps the most radical act of healing is not fighting, not suppressing, and not fearing it. Perhaps the most radical act of healing is trust. Thank you very much for spending this time with me today. I don't take it lightly that you choose to sit with this knowledge because I know it asks something of us. It asks us to see differently, and that is not always easy. If this episode stirred something in you, I would love to hear about it. You can find me at biologicalharmony.com. Share it with someone who needs to remember that their body is on their side. And if you want to go deeper, explore the other episodes in this series. We walk through each of the 5 biological laws, and the beauty only grows. Until next time, be gentle with yourself. Trust the wisdom inside you. You are not broken. You never were.